All right, so now that we've had a little bit of time to kind of look into some numbers and stuff, I've written them down, so I'll go ahead and share this with you. But bringing back to the table this conversation of shared income, which we had kind of diverse opinions about. We definitely wanted more information, so I'll kind of share with what we have. So pooled together, we'd have about $5,700 a month. We're gonna round just because it's a couple dollars, right, give or take. But $5,700 a month. $2,000 of that would go towards all our expenses. Would cover literally everything as far as like mortgage, all the different utility bills, etc., internet, all that good stuff. So that leaves us with $3,700. So if you guys just want to factor in the number of $3,700 after the fact, right, we'll factor that in. So that's everybody's income pooled after all expenses for the house, $3,700, and then maybe we want to possibly bring up ideas about negotiating allowances from that, or again, all for the sake of a hypothetical that we can then pitch as a proposal. Yeah.
Great.
Let me know if there's anything else kind of we wanted information on, and I can share what I've got.
So to summarize, I guess that's $750 each a month, right? You said $3,700.
$3,700.
Okay, so $750 each at the end of the day.
You are good with numbers.
For our
I'm
allowance.
assuming. I don't know. I'm just gonna trust that. Yeah, sure.
Allowance and overall everything, all in $750 before we do any of the,
And that's monthly.
monthly.
Yeah.
So we're talking,
What would that be weekly?
750 divided by 4?
about 183, 175.
Checking your math.
180, 183.
So maybe we do a thing where people just jump in and give some thoughts.
Impulses. Feel free to. Yeah.
Come back to me.
Okay.
Have some reservations. Just
Okay.
slightly. 180 a week is interesting.
Tight
Hey,
budget for you?
Huh?
Is that a tight budget
Yeah.
for you?
I'll just throw this out there, keeping in mind that we're sharing a meal.
Oh,
for
5 days
Yeah,
of the
days a
week.
that
week.
includes our,
And that was
like, our
included
food's
in
paid for.
expenses.
Okay.
Yeah, our food has already been covered in this budget, so that's
Okay.
the 183 after food.
Mhm.
Has already
after
been
food, after
taken
rent,
care of.
after electricity.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you calculate our discretionary fund into that? Where we're like talking hot tubs the other day and we still haven't,
I
we're
did
still,
not.
so,
So we would say 10% of that would go in.
the
That's
dispersion.
75, so we're talking $700
a month each.
a month if we're estimating.
Now math it out for her to a week.
Yeah, divided by 4.
I just have to write out my math, and then I can do just about anything.
So math it out weekly for me.
It's similar, 170.
Okay.
Yeah.
170.
Reservations still?
No. Because I'm remembering that food is covered for like
We're
5
sharing
days of that
vehicles,
week.
too, so that gas has been factored in already.
Still thinking?
Many things I forgot to take in consideration.
Still thinking.
So
Yeah.
that's purely 170 for your
Anything else, like
for
entertainment,
whatever you want.
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are you feeling?
I feel okay with that for sure. Seeing the money all pulled together like that, I don't feel as guilty anymore because I do see one number, and that like one number as a household kind of does start to solidify us as a group for me specifically. So yeah, I feel totally okay with that. Yeah.
It comes across as about $25 a day as like a per diem if you were going to look at it like that.
So how are you feeling about it? Because we do know that out of that big number, you have the largest contribution into that.
I'm more than comfortable as if people feel easier. I did the math on what people were living off before, so it's not that much of an increase, but it's definitely a generous increase of your quality of life, and I'm interested in making everyone happier for the moment. And when people graduate, if they contribute more money as we go along throughout the years, then I feel like you give now, you get later type thing. So I'm investing into the group as I am with my other investments. So I feel great with that number.
I have less reservations now that we actually have an actual number than when we were just talking about
Yeah.
hypotheticals.
Hypotheticals.
Because thinking about that, that's actually not much of a... I mean, yeah, it's an increase than what I would normally have in a week. But then I don't know. It doesn't seem as bad. So I'm more leaning towards yes. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So it sounds like everybody's kind of at a consensus of this might work.
Okay, and everybody feels clear about what that's covering and what that's not covering when we're talking about the group numbers.
So proposal would be we would have 10% of our income would be shared, be 170-ish a week.
I think it
I
was.
think that's the number for all of it pooled together.
Yeah, I think we were
10%.
talking 100% of our income.
Yeah, that was
That's what these
100%.
numbers are factoring in.
These numbers come out with is what we found from last year
True.
to this year.
I don't know why I still had the 10% in my mind,
Yeah.
even though I knew.
No, it's fine.
Does that change your answer about reservations?
Well, of course I still have reservations,
Well,
but
yeah.
I still am leaning more towards yes,
Yes,
just
okay.
because having the numbers.
Is there a
And-
creative solution we can do for your reservation that you have?
And also, is there like maybe a trial period that you think we should try this at? Like,
We could.
we try it for 6 months.
We could always try 1 month and see
Month.
how
I'm
Well,
always
that-
down for a trial period
Yeah.
because I think my reservations are more. I'm very hesitant when it comes to making like
Big,
larger financial decisions.
decisions
yes,
like that.
Yes.
I think a month might not actually give us enough of a capture of what it would feel like.
I would be okay with 6 months.
I
If
think
everyone's
six.
in and I'm just having some hesitancy just because it's a larger financial decision, 6 months I think is totally fine.
Yeah, I think I hesitate on the 6 months because that's my graduation time specifically. So like,
Oh,
I'd
that's
love
true.
I'd love to kind of
But would that be
maybe do a check-in at 2 months. Does a check-in at 2 months with 6 months in sight?
so? My research
Factor in for
brain is
people?
trying to decide what between a month and 6 months feels like more than a single case study versus an N of 7,000
Yeah,
How would we
participants.
feel
3
about-
months.
How would we feel about doing 3 months?
sure. I
And
graduated
then
in 6. So.
Also, maybe like how about like how would you feel? Because of course, like if we're all doing 100% of our income, and of course, like we talk about if we're gonna be doing larger purchases, but of course we'd have a meeting to like really hash out like if there is a bigger purchase coming along, like how we would then cross that bridge.
How that would look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Because
think
I bet in 3 months something will come up, or there will
car
be a
will
lot.
break.
I think there will be a lot to come up. Honestly,
There will
in
be
6 months
something
or
that
3
we
months
end up
that
having
we're
to
like,
negotiate.
Think about that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
but 3 months
So
trial
3
period
months
with-
feels a little more comfortable to you.
Yeah, and that's just to summarize it. That's pulling our income out of expenses. We end up with like 170 a week per person,
A
roughly.
range, yeah.
For
700 a month.
that does not need to go towards food or gas or car or bills or anything. It's just 170 for you as a person.
It's your fun money.
Fun money. Fun money.
Fun money.
And you can save it, spend it, whatever you need to do
Right.
with it.
So we're not going to do the investment route with our money. We're just going to do that on our own time.
Well, we talked about that kind of pending, and that may be what we revisit in 3 months as well. Is that when we come back in 3 months and we have this conversation, we also start thinking, okay, do we really feel like maybe we should be throwing I don't know, I'm going to say 5% because it's a random number, a 5% towards something that helps us get a safety net.
For sure.
And that might even be a little bit longer term, like as we graduate, like how does that affect our shared income? And so maybe that actually becomes a little bit more feasible when we have a little bit more.
Right. So
in
in
there.
3 months, we come back, we revisit how we're feeling about what's
Great.
taken place, and also what we could feasibly, like we've paid attention to what we spent in that 3 months, and how much of that we might could say, I'm willing to give X amount of that allowance into our
And the investment.
future.
And the investment, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. You good?
Dope.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Very
good.
good.
I'm
Great.
good with that. Proposal.
Anybody's like big block?
No blocks here.
Hell yeah.
Woo,
Cory-
yay,
Cory, do
team!
you have any?